All right. Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Yes, it's Couch Pilots, the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, a.k.a. the Black Banshee, and across from me is the Black Restisher. Evening, Captain.
Good evening. How are you, my friend?
I see what you did there. And you know what? I love it.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Another Monday night, taking a flight. You know, DSJ has checked this plane out. He fixed the door, so, you know, the blood is...
Yeah, last week you cut yourself pretty bad, and you're bleeding in here, and now it's been all taken care of, thank God.
All taken care of. It's lubed up. It's got some KY on, Vaseline stuff on the sides of it.
That'll do it.
And, you know, I'm ready to take a great flight, and I'm especially excited because we have a frequent flyer with us.
You know, it's you and me week after week, but, you know, they say three's company, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's welcome aboard, back for an unprecedented, perhaps? Definitely unprecedented, right? We've never had someone precedent this many times.
No, this is the most precedented I've ever seen.
Welcome back to the show, Dustin.
Come on, knock on our door.
Knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you. With a thing and a thing and a thing.
This is our his and hers and hers.
Kisses are his and hers. I never understood that.
His and hers and hers and his or something like that.
I remember you singing that once. It blew my mind that you knew, not only that you knew the lyrics, but that those were the lyrics, because later they were proven to be so. It doesn't even make any sense.
Nah,
Kisses
it was the 80s. Nobody cared.
It didn't, yeah. Everybody was all coked up anyway when they were watching TV.
Well, hold on. Oh, they were watching TV?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like the actors and the producers were coked up, but you're saying the people at home watching TV was coked up.
Everybody was coked up.
Well, his balls fell out on an episode.
Who's?
John Ritter's. You never heard about that?
From those short shorts?
Yeah, like there was a scene where he was sitting on a bed or something, and like totally one of the little Ritters was like sneaking out.
Wait a minute, is this like the whole like the midget who hung himself in Wizard of Oz?
No,
is it like that?
It's more like the guy who has his dick hanging out at the end of Teen Wolf.
Oh,
it's more like that.
There's a guy with his dick
about that.
Yeah, there's a guy in the bleachers at the very last scene. He's got his pants half pulled down. His schwanz is hanging out of his zipper there.
You have an incredible sense. It's like, where's Waldo
for genitals?
If there's hidden genitalia in a movie, I'm the guy to talk to. I know where it's all at.
I'm glad we're friends.
I feel like there's a podcast in there somewhere, like Hidden Genitalia Cast or something, where we just week after week uncover not only the person behind the genitals, but also the people in front of the camera who missed it.
Right. So yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's glad to have you.
Oh, that was it. We can't go. You can't do any better than that.
Now, one of the criteria. I mean, people who've never heard the show before, these Doctor Who fans that are coming on the show listening for the first time, they're like,
Whovians.
Oh, thank you.
Hoovastank?
Yeah. Hoovastanks.
Dr. Hoovastank?
Yes.
Right. They're like, how does this guy? How is he? What's a frequent flyer?
I don't know. What is that? What does that even mean?
You don't know? You've been doing this show forever.
Oh, I was just playing it. I know what it is. I was just
we're
doing a bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so basically, anytime you download the show, anytime you contact the show, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, our Gmail account, or even one of my favorites, our dial-in number.
910 Pilots 1.
Easy to remember. Easy to decipher. Just write it down on a piece of paper, and then, you know, it's like those little clue books you used to have, you know, the number, what letters, what number.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dustin has just, he's phoned in. You heard last week he phoned in, but he's called in. He's listened to every episode we've ever had, and, you know, he just keeps racking up those frequent flyer points.
Ching.
And every once in a while we call him and like, hey, we really don't like our frequent flyers having this many, you know, points on the books. Let's use some of these up. And he's like, well, do something I want to do. And
he called it in too. He called it in.
I did. I called an audible.
Yeah, you called it in, and you talked about this show. You yourself are a big Doctor Who fan.
Correct.
You're a Whovian.
I'm a Whovian.
Have you seen every single episode dating back from the very beginning?
Okay, so for like the recent ones, yeah, I've seen all those multiple times. For the originals that started back in the 60s, I've seen everything from the first Doctor up through the fourth. So there's some in the 80s that I haven't seen, the Peter Davison years. And
how many Doctors has there been?
There's been 12.
What happens to these doctors where they disappear and new ones come?
I'm not a Doctor Who guy. I honestly
believe
don't
it's
know.
like contractual obligations.
Oh.
You know.
But I have to ask.
But they were so smart when they devised this character because they needed to replace the original actor because he was getting old. He wasn't able to. Yeah, he couldn't handle the workload and everything. So they're like, well, he's an alien. We'll just have him like die and shapeshift. And he gets brought back to life, but he changes.
Spoiler alert.
Bodies.
It's
been around since the 60s.
But that's a trope of the show now.
Yeah,
it's expected,
and it's
after
the
a while.
only way that show has been able to last this long because, William Hartnell died a long time ago.
Now you say, we're on the 12th Doctor. Usually when we talk about TV shows,
there's going to be a 13th because they
know
already.
Who that is?
Not yet. They just announced not too long ago that this was going to be the final season for Peter Capaldi.
Now, when was Billie Piper on the show?
She was the first companion when they rebooted the show in 2005. So she was on seasons 1 and 2 with Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant.
On the reboot.
Mm-hmm. And then they brought her back occasionally, like towards the end of David Tennant's run.
Because I want to have sex with her.
How do you know about this girl?
She used to have a show.
Well, she was also a pop singer originally.
Right, she was a pop singer, and then she had Hooker Diaries or something.
Confessions of a Sex something.
This is all BBC stuff?
No, it was Cinemax or HBO or Showtime or something. And it was pretty hot. She was a prostitute.
Oh, I'm in.
And I don't like, obviously, little spoiler alert, I don't like British television at all.
Uh-oh.
But I would show her my Piper.
Okay, fair enough.
She's everybody's favorite, not mine.
The British TV shows are so
well, good.
famous.
We don't have to share.
Good. She's all yours.
They're so famous for saying, hey, 12 episodes, we're done.
Yeah.
We did it. We nailed it. We're gone.
Right.
Why does this keep going? Why does Doctor Who stand the test of time?
I think it's just because it's a character that it's almost like the British Batman, in a way.
Just keeps coming back.
Yeah, and it's an icon in that genre. And what's fun is when it gets rebooted or when there's a new Doctor, they bring a whole new
storyline.
Kind of like a vibe. to the
a
show?
whole new vibe to the character.
Yeah.
Like they play it differently.
Like one year, when one Doctor could be like really into disco,
right?
And then like another one could be really into like
one of them.
rap.
Yeah, one of them wore a coat that looked like Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Love that.
For a little
coat
while.
of many colors.
Yes, Colin Baker. He had a crazy coat.
So in the same vein, it's like this show is continuing, but it's also getting a little shot of something new each time.
And they change the companions even more frequently.
And why do they do that? What is the reason behind that?
British people don't believe in monogamy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
There you go. Fantastic. Because I don't know anything about Doctor Who.
No.
I do know that your bathroom at one point, Dustin, was
Yes.
completely Doctor Who'd out. You've since had a companion of your own move in with you. Has that changed the look of your bathroom?
Yes, we've relocated some of the Doctor Who stuff that was in the bathroom because we had a shower curtain, we had towels and rugs, toothbrush holder, soap dispenser. Those are now downstairs.
Dildo plunger?
Nope, there's no dildo plunger for the Doctor. But we had some art and stuff up on the walls, and some of that's now in Drew's room, and some of it down in Drunken Lullaby Studios.
Fun fact: I've been to Dustin's house many times. I've never been to the bathroom.
Why not?
I've never been down the hall past the kitchen.
he doesn't like going other places he's not comfortable.
Right, but I've never been. I've never been past the hallway.
What, are you afraid of going to the bathroom in any place that's not your home?
Well, I don't like it. But I think there's been,
I've used your bathroom.
I mean, there's been
times.
a number of times where I was like, Dustin, I've got to pee, and he's like, too damn bad.
Oh, okay. Wow, I had no
You
idea.
can use the sink.
I do believe I did pee at your house one time, and it was in the backyard. It was when you guys
Probably.
when you guys recorded episode 1 and 2 of Drunken
That sounds
Lullabies.
about right. Yeah.
You pissed in the backyard, huh?
Yeah, Szymanski did it, so I was like, I can do it if he can do it, right?
I would not necessarily take my life lessons from Blake Szymanski, but I'll leave that up to you.
Okay.
Oh, very good. Do you have any fan feedback today?
No.
Okay, good.
Not at all.
Let's go ahead and board the plane.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
What do we ever do here? We only know how to do one thing. Fly planes guided by a man with Down syndrome and haphazardly discuss television shows that have only one episode. Right?
Yeah,
That's what we do.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not complicated.
No.
When you first tune into Couch Pilots,
You're thinking this is complicated.
yeah, they see all the show notes and they're like, oh my gosh, there's times.
Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated?
Why did she wear a tie? She used to wear a tie all the
She
time.
wore socks on her hands. That crazy Canadian.
I don't know.
Who are you talking about?
Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
Mrs. Nickelback.
Mrs. Nickelback.
Oh, boy.
I bet she's
The
had
mistakes we've made.
I bet she's had a nickel quantity on her back before.
I get it.
Hey-yo.
Today we discussed a pilot episode of K-9 and Company, Space, A Girl's Best Friend, from the year of our Lord, 19 plus 80 and 1. Great year.
Fantastic year.
Yeah.
I would say it's a good year for the roses.
Now, what does that mean?
Every year there is a rose parade in California.
Elliott Smith, I believe, sang about it.
Exactly. And I think it's every odd year is a year of the roses. It's
Okay.
like the Japanese New Year.
Good to know. Thank you. You bring so much to the show. I can't even thank you. Thank you.
It's a gift and a curse.
I'd say it was a good year for the Wyckoffs and the Toshers.
As we were born in that year.
Correct.
Amazing. Really?
Absolutely. We were born just a few weeks apart in the year of our Lord, 1980 plus 1, October. Mm-hmm. I was 0 years old. Blake, how old were you?
I was 6 years old.
Great age.
Great age. You know, you're just you're able to pull your own pants up.
Yep.
Your mom
Peeing in yards.
peeing in yards. Peeing on trees for sure.
Yeah.
Once in a while, your mom lets you pick your outfit out yourself.
Yeah.
McDonald's Happy Meals are just
great.
Oh, they had good toys back then.
great toys back
Yeah.
then. God, yeah, that was good. It was a good year.
It was a good year. So let's travel back in our minds to 1981. Let's use a digital time machine to put ourselves in the mindset of that year so we can properly digest this pilot. Iran releases 52 American hostages who had been held for 444 days. We're still in problems with Iran, right? To this day.
I think
Why?
so. I don't know.
Because Ahmed Ahmadinejad.
Yeah.
Ahmadinejad. Why don't we just blow the?
Ahmadinejad.
Why don't we just blow that fucking place up?
Was Falco from Iran?
I think so. Yeah.
R.I.P. Why don't we blow it up? Well, you can't just... There's a lot of innocent people there. There's a lot of good people in Iran, I'm sure, right?
You know what? Just
Fuck them.
Or you either fuck them or throw some flyers out that says, "Hey."
Frequent flyers?
No, flyers like that you write on, like
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was going to have to go to Iran to get points now.
no, like a concert bill.
It's an exchange program.
Yeah, they just float them down and just say, "Hey, good people, get out because the shit's going down."
Bad people, stay where you are.
Yeah, bad people, stay right where you're at.
Don't move.
Now, this is what the movie Argo was based on, correct?
This pilot?
No, that story that
Oh,
you just...
yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, I think Ben Affleck was so encapsulated with the, which I think is the correct usage of that word, with this conflict that he had to write a movie about it and direct it.
444 days. Mm-hmm. Why were they over
6
there?
years.
How long was it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
6 years.
It's like, whoa, I'm going to go to the pachinko machine on this one, but I don't think that's right.
Don't waste your time working on that
Math
goddamn
is
thing.
hard.
Researchers find the wreck of the Titanic in the North Atlantic. I can't find it.
Did they find that old lady?
Is she down there? I know at the end of that movie she went, and threw that shit in the water, right? But did she go in there too?
I don't know.
Did they dump the body of the
I think
actress?
so.
The best way to pay this girl is to throw her overboard. Now, it's funny you bring up the Titanic because there are only 3 pachinko machines known on the planet Earth.
And what is? I mean, I know we mentioned it just a minute ago, but what is the pachinko machine for people who aren't
the
initiated?
pachinko machine is the non-electronic, non-computer related machine that we use to calculate everyone's frequent flyer points.
It's a series of punch cards, essentially, right?
And gears
Absolutely.
and widgets.
Love widgets.
We have one. Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana has the other one.
That's a real place. We're
And
not
I've-
making this
No,
up.
I've played it before. There's
Yeah.
a picture of me playing on the pachinko machine.
Yeah.
They use it for different things than we do. And then there is
a third one.
There's the third one
at the bottom of the North Atlantic.
Yeah, supposedly that was being hauled by the Titanic.
That's right. And Big E, I believe, has a submersible that he can get down there, as well as James Cameron. And I really think Big E and James Cameron right now are kind of in a head-to-head race.
To see who gets up first.
Who can get to that pachinko machine?
They can get to the machine. It's just trying to figure out how to get it out of the water.
Yeah, I saw a selfie that Big E had done recently of him. Like he's doing a selfie with the pachinko machine, but he is dumbfounded as how to get this fucking thing to the surface.
Right.
Anyway,
you can lead a man to a pachinko machine, but you cannot make them get it out of there.
As the saying goes, Muhammad Ali finally retires with a career record of 55 wins and 5 defeats.
Rest in Parkinson's.
Rest in Parkinson's for sure.
The GOAT.
Yeah,
Greatest of all time.
To me, be a Muslim. Go be a Muslim. If that's what you want to do, if that's what's in your heart, but don't change your name from Cassius Clay. That's like the coolest fucking name ever,
the
right?
coolest name.
Alliteration is awesome.
No doubt. Cassius
Now, was
Clay.
that his slave name?
No, I think his slave name was Toby.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, makes
Kunta
sense.
Kinte.
And then we already covered this, but I'm Bjorn that year.
Bjorn Borg?
Yeah. So, great year. I'm back in that mind frame. I feel like I'm in 1981 all over again.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you're just being born?
I feel like there's a lot of darkness to the sides of me. I see a light in the middle.
Yeah.
How big's the
I'm
light?
still adjusting to the light.
How big was the light?
I'm blinded by the light.
Wrapped up like a douche.
Another roller in the night.
Why did we choose?
How big was your light?
Uh-oh.
Dustin, that you saw through.
I have so many awful things I want to say.
I don't know. Can't say I recall it too clearly, and I know I haven't seen that site since. So,
Good on you.
yeah.
I usually turn to you, as I so often do in the past, Philip, rest assured, for why we chose to watch this pilot. But I'm going to look slightly to my left and ask Dustin, do you know why we chose to watch K-9 Company? I'm going to say there's even 4 reasons.
Because I called in and I said, hey, you wanted ideas.
I got one right here. The tough one out of the way. That's number one.
It is a failed TV show. Only had 1 episode, just the pilot.
Nailing it.
2/3. It has to be free.
We're not made of money. I honestly, if I had to choose, I would be made of money.
I mean, I've got a big wad of money, nothing less than a 20.
Right.
But I'm not paying for no pilot.
Right. No doubt.
Yeah, and we have to be able to
Don't
find
speak.
it. Got to find that classically blue link.
Now, that's funny you mentioned that, because there is a lot of controversy behind blue links at this point.
Let's not. I mean,
you don't want to delve into that?
Let's close the door.
Is it TARDIS blue?
The problem is Dustin
Retardus blue over here has been posting them as passionately fuchsia links.
Drunken Lullabies has had the same issue. I resolved it on one of their recent episodes.
But I don't say our links are blue. I don't even talk about links.
Well, you know what?
I guess I should.
Nobody saw your links until this last week.
Oh, okay.
Unless they scrolled over every word, waiting for one to go, I'm a hyperlink. It's all right.
Yeah, good to know.
I'm not the greatest podcaster.
No,
Muhammad Ali.
was.
Nice. High five it. Woo, where can you find?
I've never been left out of a high five before. You guys did it so fast. No, it's okay. I don't want a sympathy five.
So where can you find?
Where's Matt Phillips when you need him?
Oh, he'd high five you in a second.
Yeah.
He's so kind with his high fives. He's so giving.
He counts them.
They're worth almost nothing.
$5.
$5 high fives. Where can you watch K-9 and Company in its entirety? Well, you can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube.
You know what to do, Tube.
God
Very
damn
good.
right.
Very good.
Whoops.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff.
Now we're even.
Oh, it does so many dingings.
You can call me retardus if you want.
No. My wife will hear it from upstairs.
Now they're watching Gilmore Girls.
The siren song of retardation. Summary: the pilot. A spin-off of Doctor Who, where Sarah Jane Smith and her robot dog are out to solve the mystery of her disappearing aunt. Pretty good summary.
Pretty good summary.
That summarizes the summary in a way that you would need it summarized. Like if I was listening to a college professor and he summarized it like that, I would be able to summarize it in my notes to where it would make sense later on when I'm summarizing it to my study group.
That is literally all we can ask from a summary.
Right.
This next section it is. I like to tread lightly here. It's called Interesting Facts.
You know what? We've been doing the show long enough. The 14 listeners that we have should know this. We shouldn't have to tread lightly. It's very obvious. Conrad rule is in effect. Interesting facts. Dustin.
Yes.
When Jason reads these interesting facts to you, are you going to tell us that you think they're interesting?
I'm going to keep my damn mouth shut.
You goddamn right.
Here's a guy who knows the show.
Yeah, that's why I'm a frequent flyer
That's right.
in
That's exactly
Iran.
right. There are a lot.
Ran so far away.
There's a and Iran.
Flock of seagulls.
This doesn't work with Iraq, does it? Interesting facts. I've got a bunch of them. So
really?
hold on. And
Strap on in.
Strap it on. I want to say, Dustin, you might be able to help me with some of these.
Oh, most likely.
Because of your wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Stars Elisabeth Sladen, R.I.P.
R.I.P., yes.
She's dead?
Unfortunately, yeah. She passed 2 or 3 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
From what?
I believe she had cancer.
Pancreatic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
That
looked
shit
into
eats
it.
you up. That's not good.
She's a good-looking lady.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was a favorite companion for many young adolescent
I tell you what.
Doctor Who fans.
I tell you what, right off the bat, this is unprecedented. I'm already going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to give her a cancer bump. 1 extra point.
Wow.
Wait, is it benign or malignant?
Good question.
If there's a cancer bump,
You want the benign bump?
You'll find out at the end.
okay.
Oh, he's
You should get that bump looked at.
He's got us by the short ones. So it stars her and the first ever real-life metal K-9. Series had been developed. It was planned to reveal, probably around the end of the first season, that K-9, in fact, had been sent by the Master.
Oh,
And I
snap.
don't know what that means.
Oh,
Me
okay.
neither. I was like,
So, the Master, I know you're probably thinking Master of Puppets by Metallica.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with this. The Master is the Doctor's arch nemesis. They're both Time Lords from Gallifrey, and that's
Nerd.
That's his home
You
planet.
have left us in the dust.
And they, for a long time, were supposed to be the only two left in the entire galaxy.
kind of like Highlanders, it sounds like.
Kind of, yeah. There can only be one.
So this never came to fruition, but
That would have been a twist.
and since then, K-9. I was just going to ask you to do that. Perfect. Later, K-9 does come back, as we'll learn further in interesting facts. But
In the new series, yeah. They
What's-
brought him back.
what do you think his role would have been as someone sent by the arch nemesis of the famed Doctor?
Yeah, I don't know, like subterfuge and just
Yeah.
like getting stuff screwed up, and who knows? They probably would have tried to get the Doctor involved on the show.
Like a
If
little
it was-
cameo here and there?
Yeah, if it was a spinoff. I mean, like Buffy and Angel, they would always appear on each other's.
Spike would hang around.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure that
The fuck are you nerds talking about?
You said you watch Buffy.
they can't all be Golden Girls. I'm sorry.
And then Blanche
Empty's
shows up.
Nest.
Thank you.
Rose
for
time
being
travels.
a friend.
Richard Mulligan showing up to visit.
Yeah, that would be good.
My favorite was when Burt Reynolds came in.
This was watched by 8.4 million viewers on its original transmission. And keep in mind, by today's standard, that's huge.
Yeah. Well,
But
they have like four channels or something.
Right, but back then, that was just in the UK, so that was probably pretty huge for the UK.
And if I remember right, it was around Christmas or
It
so
was.
when they aired it. So
Yep.
that Christmas nowadays is a Doctor Who tradition. There's always a Christmas episode.
Maybe you can explain that. Like, I haven't watched a lot of BBC shows. I do
Yeah.
like the original Office. I've watched Luther.
Okay.
I think that's a great show. A lot of BBC shows have Christmas specials. A lot of them do. Why is that?
They just really like Christmas.
Apparently so. It was watched by 8.4 million viewers. This was released by the BBC on video cassette in the UK in August of '95. So you could own this on VHS, and it did air originally, like you had mentioned, around Christmas on December 28th in 1981.
I think they threw it on a DVD as a special feature in the past. I'm not sure if that was on an American version or just on
It's
the
an
UK.
American version.
Yeah.
Well, Elisabeth Sladen did reveal on the DVD commentary that she found John Black, who was the director, she found his direction flat and lifeless.
Interesting.
Whoa.
She dusted.
Here we go.
God damn it!
Here we go. You know what? I have nothing left
Fuck
to
it.
give.
I'm out.
No,
Fuck
you.
it.
You deal with this shit. I have to deal with you all the fucking time when it comes to qualifying these facts. You deal with this shit.
All right.
I'm out.
Listen. God, this is like, okay. You're a frequent flyer. You listen to this show all the time. This is not a hard fucking rule, man. I don't know if you know, those fish sticks you had before you got here had too much mercury in them or what.
It's possible. I'm sorry. It just slipped out.
Sorry doesn't. I've tried sorry.
I'm making him spill his drinks. It's. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It won't happen again.
Okay.
I promise.
Conrad Jr.
Hold on. Dustin, can you take off your headphones for 1 second?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you should ask him to, like, you're going to take some frequent flyer points away from him as a punishment. What do you think about that? Make him go to Iraq or Iran to get him back.
How about a 500-page dissertation on the Iran-Contra scandal?
Yeah. Oh, I love Contra.
Contra code?
Super C. What?
The Iran.
Hold on. Let's.
Conrad
You guys
scandal.
realize I can hear you better now, right?
Oh,
Dustin, we've talked about this ad nauseum, and the only way that you are able to retain the amount of frequent flyer points you've accumulated based on your infractions now is to give us the Konami code, aka the Contra code.
Isn't it up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start?
Okay.
Something like that?
Yeah. Okay.
I never played that game, but for some reason I know most of the code. I think it's just...
It's ingrained
Yeah.
in the lexicon of America.
Yeah.
sure. It's like one of those Soviet spies. Like if we just say the right word, it'll
activate.
Yeah, it'll activate him.
Yeah. Oh boy, what a tangent!
I'm sorry for raising my voice, Dustin. I apologize.
It's okay. I deserved it.
We have what can
Yes.
only be described as passion.
I love that about you guys.
The story was released on DVD on June 16th, 2008 as a double pack with K-9's first Doctor Who story, The Invisible Enemy. So you're right, it was released on DVD.
There we go.
Very good. Excuse me, the two characters did reappear 2 years later in The Five Doctors, an episode of Doctor Who broadcast in 1983 celebrating the show's 20th anniversary.
Yep, that's another thing that they do frequently. They'll do these anniversary specials where they will have some sort of weird occurrence where several doctors all end
coexist
up in one reality and interact with each other for a little bit.
Who's your favorite Doctor?
Mine would be
Dre?
the 10th. Yes, David Tennant.
I was going to guess Tennant.
Yeah, I'm a Tennant guy.
He seems to be really loved.
Yeah.
Like passionately so. I watched him. What I really came to know him is as a motherfucker from Jessica Jones. He was like the main
Yes.
bad guy in that.
He's also on Broadchurch,
Okay.
which they did an American version called Grace Point. Didn't do so well here, but the original British version is called Broadchurch.
Okay.
Pretty good crime drama.
He seems to be really loved in the UK. Are you okay? Time-wise, are we killing it?
No, I was going to say pretty good.
Oh, hold on. You did just say it. Give it your all, though. Let's hear it.
Pretty good.
Perfect. Following the successful revival of Doctor Who in 2005, Sarah Jane Smith and K-9 would be reintroduced to the show in the second series episode, School Reunion, which aired in 2006. And I assume you've seen this one.
Several times.
Why would you watch this stuff more than once?
Because I own it on DVD, and I watched
But you have 4,000
I know.
DVDs.
But I watched it on my own, and then I got Drew, my daughter,
Oh, okay.
into it, so I rewatched it with her. I'm currently rewatching them all with Freckles because we're trying to get her caught up.
So she has not seen them before.
Well, she had seen some of those ones, but she had left off during the David Tennant years.
Okay.
She never saw any of Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi, so that's what we're watching.
you gotta
now.
see Capaldi.
You gotta.
So in this episode we're going to watch, and we'll talk about it.
Are
Sarah Jane
interesting
Smith-
facts over?
No,
You
there's
just said
more.
the word.
There's more.
No, I said the name of the title of the segment.
Said the magic word.
This show shows the introduction of K-9 to Sarah Jane Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Are we to surmise that they have known each other this entire time into 2006 and been solving mysteries, even though it was never broadcast?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, I've got one more here. Actually, I've got a few, but I'm just going to leave it off with this one. This became the basis for another series involving the two characters, the Sarah Jane Adventures, which debuted in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
K-9 appears only occasionally in the first and second series and becomes a regular character in Series 3. Another unrelated program not produced by the BBC and without Sarah Jane, K-9, began airing in 2010. The series, created by Bob Baker, one of the originators of the K-9 character, features a different version of the robot dog. These are all spin-offs.
Yeah.
Do you watch all these?
Sarah Jane Adventures I did watch. It was geared towards a younger audience. So I bought those DVDs for Drew because it was basically Doctor Who, but just
Young
more
and hip?
kid-friendly.
More young and hip?
Yeah, like it involved other kids. You know, it was Sarah Jane solving adventures with her son and his friends and stuff instead of grown-ups and everything. And
Like the Nancy Drew of Doctor Who.
yeah, and I think that was the last thing she worked on. They were going to have another season, but
Before
then
she
she
died.
got ill and it never...
License? Did she have a license?
She had a license to ill, yeah.
Look how he's almost upset he said it. Well, I'm not upset to say that Interesting Facts is over. There was a lot of facts there, a lot to take in. Take a deep breath. You had an infraction.
I know.
You've been absolved because you knew the kimono code. And with that, you
Such
know
a
what?
tiny dragon, so little.
And you've earned yourself a promo as well.
Can you lip sync it?
Hi, this is the voice from Drunken Lullabies. Do you like craft beer, indie music, pop culture, pro wrestling, and pure juvenile hijinks? Then you will love Drunken Lullabies on the FCF network. We have new episodes every Sunday, so you can spend the Sabbath getting drunk with us. So join me and my co-host Beer Mansky and our rotating cast of characters as we drink amazing beer, listen to bands we think you need to know, and laugh our asses off. Like Elvis said, 10,000 Drunkomaniacs can't be wrong. Check us out on all podcast platforms and at fcfnetwork.com. May your music be loud and your beers be cold.
That was the best part. Sync-wise.
Yeah.
Good show. Very good show.
Great show.
Thanks. You were just on it.
Yeah, I invited myself. I said to Dustin, we got to come out. I said, hey, thanks for inviting me to be on the show. He goes, you kind of invited yourself.
But I was going to ask you anyway. We went to Iron Spike, and
We'll be expecting our check.
Yeah, we announced they're sponsoring a segment on the show now that we have called Spin the Bottle.
And actually,
where we chug a beer at the beginning of every show, and we are now only chugging Iron Spike beers.
That's awesome.
And that episode just came out yesterday on the 5th.
Correct.
This is the 13th.
No, it comes out. It comes out Sunday, right?
No. It came out a long time ago. This is the 13th. This is 2 days before my birthday.
Oh,
A little plug for your
came out
birthday.
last week. There you go.
That's my
Yeah.
birthday plug.
If you like craft beer, if you like indie
Guess that's better
music,
than a butt plug.
did you say butt plug during his plug for
No,
a show?
no.
I said a birthday plug. He said
okay.
it's better than a butt plug. But
Okay,
they could
gotcha.
be one and the same for all we know.
That's true.
Drunken Lullabies comes out every Sunday. I advise you check it out. It's a great show. They put out a quality product week after week. Really cool indie music, really cool craft beers. You got a great host who's sitting with us today. And like you said, a revolving cast of interesting characters, including you've had local DJs on.
Yeah.
You've had professional wrestlers on. Mm-hmm. You've had indie music artists on. You've had
That's true.
brewmasters on.
Yes, we have.
You've had
Homebrewers.
You've had a couple assholes like me and Blake on.
Totally. Several of those.
But check them out every Sunday. It's a great show right here on the FCF network. Subscribe today. Now let's all dig in to this pilot. Let's break it down.
Yeah,
here.
let's do it.
Oh boy, lot to talk about here in this 50-minute pilot. Opens up, you got the BBC logo again, back in the
Old
80s.
school logo.
And that's what we
I
like.
hadn't seen that one in a while.
You like that?
Yeah,
I love those old bumpers.
It takes you back to,
It
to
sure
when
does.
you were just going out of your mother's vagina,
then-
apparently.
and
Which when you see that light.
and trying to determine how big that light was, right? The intro, a lot of science, a lot of beeping, computers.
Electronic music.
That was a dope jam.
And
K-9.
that's all it is. K-9.
Synthy music. You got robots. You got newspapers. You got all this imagery popping at you.
A lot of repeated visuals.
Yeah.
Like they only had so much to piece together.
Yes.
for this entire
I'm glad you
theme.
said that because I was like,
they used some of them several times. I'm like, they should have more stock footage.
yeah, I was
than
like,
this.
wait a minute, didn't I just see her turn and look at the camera
No,
from her car?
They're just like, man, Elisabeth looks great in that shot.
Right,
We got to
right.
use that like 4 times.
And they take a shot of her from a distance, and they zoom in like a couple of shots, and then they do the same to the dog who's just standing there, which is great. It looks like serious action to me.
yeah,
Looks like we're about to see some serious shit, just like Doc Brown once said, right? The show opens at night. You got men in robes being anointed, it looks like.
yeah, it's some kind of weird like Satan ritual, and they keep going around in circles saying handkerchief, handkerchief, handkerchief.
Yeah,
handkerchief.
I was trying to figure out what they were saying too.
It sounded like
The
handkerchief.
last episode, you mentioned that there was going to be something that we were confused
yeah, I
about.
thought for sure.
Was that it?
Yeah, I thought for sure you guys would make fun of me.
I'm not joking. I wrote handkerchief 3 times in my
Thank you.
notes. It
High five
sound-
that shit.
You earned that one.
Thank you.
Yes, they're. It sounds like
Goat
handkerchief
heads.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
And like the pentagram, but wasn't upside down. Like
Yeah.
they're like, you know what? We'll
Pump the brakes on Satan here.
yeah, pump the brakes on Satan. We'll do it with the goat heads. We'll do it with the satanic ritual, but we will not have the pentagram.
but yeah, it started pretty dark.
It did. It really did. For early 80s, you bet it did. It looked almost like a grindhouse movie, you know, and just not only the quality of the film, but also what they were
Some
doing.
topless woman's going to be preparing to be,
I would have been a lot more interested.
Forget that cancer bump. we
Yeah,
want
who
that
needs a cancer bump?
Right.
They're playing a game of Ring Around the Rosie, it looked
I
like.
was good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had the same thing. Ring around the rosy is what I thought of.
Ashes to ashes, you're all going to hell.
And then there's a man, and this show, we'll talk about a little bit more, but introduces a lot of characters right away. It was tough to keep track of all. Even at the end, there's a few that I didn't know their names. But a man who, I don't know who it was, maybe you guys help me with this, he's spying through like a one-walled structure at what is happening. He's viewing
That was
this.
Taylor, right? His last name was Taylor.
I think so.
Yeah, because there was Peter Taylor was the son.
Right.
No,
And then-
Tracy. You have Peter and George Tracy. George
Tracy, that's what it was.
Yeah,
that's, right.
that's it.
That's what.
Okay, so
George Tracy.
it was Peter Tracy.
No, it was George
the
Tracy.
father. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's looking through this.
That's George Michael.
Oh, he's British. I'm close enough.
Was British.
They burned a photo of a
Come
woman.
on, he's always going to be British.
Was the photo?
When you die, it doesn't take away your nationality. When Saddam Hussein got killed, we didn't say, "Oh, he's not Iraqi
Why did you
anymore."
choose him?
I was going to say Osama bin Laden, but they just threw him on over the ship into a little boat. He's still alive.
Conspiracy theories.
They threw him alive to another boat.
Yeah, he's down there with the Titanic lady.
Right.
He's keeping James Cameron and Big E from getting that pachinko machine.
Right. No way.
Oh dear. He's gone jihad.
Everyone's speaking a foreign language.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know you have a problem with understanding the English accent. And to me, I mean, there is slang. There is different things that they say, which
Yeah.
can make it confusing, even though we are speaking the same language. That's fair to say, right? I'm not okay.
Raw is rain.
Thank you. Go up to my flat, right? I'm going to take a lift to my flat and use the loo. What the fuck does that mean?
Right.
2 elderly women are sitting around on couches talking about science and witchcraft. I think the sound is off by like a half a second.
Yeah, I
it
noticed
is.
that too.
That's when I first noticed that. You couldn't see the guys mouthing the word handkerchief, so I had to wait till these women. Then in the background, you see some movers moving some things here, and looked like all the uniforms were London trenching coats. Didn't it seem like that? No? Am I alone on this?
I don't recall their uniforms.
Well, they're handling a package for Sarah Jane Smith. They say, "Don't move that. That
Yeah,
stays
it's
here."
a big, large box. It has her name on
It's
it.
a special award.
Shot from the outside, they're at a beautiful countryside English villa. Sarah Jane Smith, the hero of the show, arrives. Her aunt Lavinine?
Sounds right.
La Vida.
Velveeta.
La Vida Loco. Okay, so
Live in Velveeta.
Okay, so hold on a second, because I told you to kind of hurry through this, and you don't really. I guess you don't have to because it's not going to make sense.
Oh, thank God.
So they're going through the Satan worshiping thing, and they have a picture of this old lady.
Was it
On the
Aunt Lavinine?
newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Wasn't
no,
it?
it was just like it was like
Like a
8x10 glossy.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh, okay. It was their press kit.
Yeah, it was a
Their
press kit, and they threw it into the fire. And so the next scene is her on the phone. This is an old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a scientist, but she writes about witchcraft.
Right. It's
bizarre.
81.
It doesn't.
You know,
It was bizarre. You're right, for sure.
Don't make excuses for this shithole show.
But that's her aunt. Stop sticking up for things that you love.
I didn't say I love it.
George Tracy, he shows up at the house, and he's like, he works for the estate. I think helps takes care of the grounds. He works.
Seems like a super friendly guy.
Really does. Very personable. And I think the villa is called Morton Howard, I want to say.
something like that.
It's a great law firm.
It is. They did great work over there.
He gives her the keys,
Which are 10 pounds, maybe?
and I think he's the brother of the innkeeper in Baffled. They had the same air, the same spooky, rude, harsh.
Baffled, the first pilot we did over 60 episodes ago. I have trouble remembering who that character is, but your memory apparently is rock solid.
It was that character of just mysterious and rude and just here's your keys.
Yeah. George's son Peter then drops off tea to Sarah now that she's kind of making herself home
in a thermos.
And immediately I was like, "What is in that thermos?" You know, like. Just the vibe.
It was weird.
Some kid in a leather jacket's like, here, pretty lady,
love that
drink this.
Drink this tea out of this thermos.
I definitely didn't beat off into it.
But here's the thing. As soon as Sarah gets there to the house, she's looking for her aunt. She can't figure out why her aunt's not there.
And she was just there the scene before.
Right.
It's really odd. She just disappeared.
And she's talking about a wire and didn't get a wire and she didn't leave anything. And so very quickly I got confused.
This whole scene is confusing to me. She comes in, she's making the call to see if she can find her aunt already.
The phone is ringing, the doorbell's going.
She's going back and forth between so many different characters. I'm trying to keep track. Who's on the phone? Do I need to know who's on the phone? Is that a character I need to make a note of? Who's this guy at the door handing her tea?
I got to go pick somebody up at the train depot.
And that guy whose name was Brendan?
Brendan.
Okay.
Brendan, yes.
I want to make sure I heard that right. Because, again, the audio and visual of this, not great.
Not the best.
Not great. And I couldn't say Brendan is not her child.
No,
is it?
No,
because he seems like a young guy who's still in school.
He seems like a nephew or something. Because I think isn't she involved
some
in
kind of posh relative?
Isn't she involved in paying for his school, or the aunt is involved in paying for his school, or something?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Sounds about right.
But he needs a ride, so she picks him up. They bring him back to the house, and there you get another character.
They're talking, and he asks her, a question, and she's like, "Oh, I've been abroad for a fortnight." What the fuck's a fortnight?
2 weeks.
And not only
how the hell do you know that? Because you watch a lot of Doctor Who.
Maybe.
What's a fort? Explain the math on a fortnight.
That is not even the only time they say fortnight a handful of times in this show too. Anywho,
sorry,
they go back to the house.
Oh, sorry. Let's just skip my thing.
Okay, so a fortnight, it derives from the Old English. Fjorwinteen night, which means 14 nights. So there you go.
Fortnight, 14 nights.
Then they just changed it to bi-weekly.
Yeah. Just say, hey, I've been gone for a couple weeks.
I've been gone bi-weekly.
Right.
That makes sense. Rolls off the tongue. Where were we? Okay, so she comes back to the house with Brendan. You got a guy there named Bill Pollock, and he's there with his dog Jasper. And they were there waiting for him. He says, I rent the eastern wing of the house. And he's talking about his dog being obedient and his business going bankrupt, and he's smoking a bitchin' pipe, isn't he?
Right. And
yeah.
He says that the aunt always leaves the back door open for him.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's putting it in her back door.
Nah, I like that. High five
with
that
the
shit.
Pipe.
Three-way high five that shit. Nice. Sarah is expressing more and more concern for her aunt, trying to find out where she is. And she feels that her aunt may have left abruptly. She feels like something may be wrong here.
Now, isn't Bill and her aunt in the same business? I mean, what business is he in? Horticulture?
It really might be, because agriculture does seem to play quite a role in this.
Yeah, they talk about the soil a lot.
Yeah, they talk about pH levels to a degree that is...
it's very acidic.
Right. You got 9 acidic over here. You got 12. It's like, all right, buddy, you lost me.
Right.
As long as it's pH balanced for a man, that's all I need to know.
They're rubbing deodorant on the ground. This ground ain't gonna sweat.
Maybe they're making those blocks of deodorant. Maybe that's what they're growing.
Let's just assume that their business is deodorant.
Okay.
The phone rings. It's Julia Baker. And And this is where I make a note that there's nonstop calls and people showing up. Anyway, this Julia lady, she invites Sarah over, and something weird seems to be happening because there's like a dude in the background. It's almost like soap opera. Like she hangs up, I do hope you change your mind about coming over. And she hangs up, and then behind there's a dude, and he's like, is she coming over? And it's like, it seems like...
And she's like, she'll come over.
Yeah. And she does. And she totally does. We're meeting tons of people here.
Yeah.
A lot of characters.
Yeah, this is like all of a sudden... like,
And none of them were
Involved.
from Doctor Who. Yeah, it was just Elisabeth Sladen,
Just
Sarah Jane's, all that you know.
Yeah.
They had the radio up super loud in the background. You could barely understand what the people were saying.
Yeah.
And then on another conversation during that party, everybody was talking so loud in the background. It's like, hey, put your gain down a little bit on the background mics, right?
For real. I do make a note of that. It is very loud at
Right.
that party. Bill decides to leave, and he says, don't go to her place. She's a competitor of mine. And again, I assume it's horticulture or some sort of agriculture.
Deodorant.
No, we don't. Or, deodorant.
Hydroponics.
And he says, don't go over there. They're competitors. Please don't go there. Don't talk to them. And then Sarah and Brendan say, hey, let's crack open this box. Let's see what's in this goddamn thing. And it's a vacuum cleaner. Or, I'm sorry, it's a mechanical dog.
Oh, yeah.
But here's something that I noticed very quickly.
Affirmative.
Yeah,
That's very good. Did you work on that all day?
No.
Okay,
I've
so
just heard it enough over
Did you
the
speak
years.
at work the entire day in that voice?
Yes, mistress.
that sounds sexy. No, so they open the top of the lid and they go to pull it out, but it's too heavy.
Yeah.
So they have to take the side off. The rest of this pilot, she's lifting that dog up out of the car, putting it on the ground, all by herself.
It's K-9 Mach 3. It's a robot dog that speaks and moves, and it's a gift from the doctor.
Yep.
This is the first.
The only reference, pretty
Yeah.
much, to the
only
doctor.
tie-in, yeah.
Because there were 2 other variations of K-9 in the past on the show, and they both got left behind with other companions. And so this was the Mach 3, and K-9 was from a different time after Sarah Jane had already left, so this was their worlds colliding for the first time.
Are there different timelines in Doctor Who?
Well, I mean, it's time travel, so it's all wibbly-wobbly, you know.
as the British are apt to say.
Yeah.
And they confirm here that it is 1981. They do say that.
December 18th, 1981.
The dog has full artificial intelligence. He's capable of like human brain thinking and full conversations with people around him. Sarah decides then to go out, and she fully accepts this machine because I think I read into this a little bit when scouring for the show, and it says Sarah was in one part of Doctor Who, K-9 was in another. Never the twain shall meet until this moment.
She was fine with it. Brendan, on the other hand, was fucking amazed. He had never seen anything like this in his life.
That's how someone should react.
Yeah, definitely.
You would think, especially in 1981.
She fully accepts this machine, though, and I having not seen Doctor Who myself, I am left to wonder what horrors has Sarah Jane Smith seen with the doctor that she accepts this shit as
She's
legit.
seen some shit.
She's been in the shit.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy me.
Anything that would cause pancreatic cancer?
Oh.
You never know. I mean, radiation involved.
Time travel?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Things like
That's
that.
Sarah, you should have thought about it before you signed up for this. Sarah is still very concerned, and she thinks something is up with her aunt. Like, she doesn't just disappear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then Sarah goes over and starts having tea with some old lady, like Lily or something.
I think that's her name, yeah.
I was under the impression that she was going to the post office to check on a wire. Now, is this old lady's house the post office?
I don't know. There's so much in and out and introducing in new people and old ladies that look like other old ladies that I get confused.
There's a lot of polyester in this show.
So much so.
I figured Blake loved it because it just reminded him of Golden Girls.
There's
so many old ladies.
I will tell you that
They
I
all
do not
have
like
accents.
the British version of Golden Girls. I would not like
What would that be called?
Huh?
What would the British version of Golden Girls be called?
The Cube.
Whoops.
This show is built on the back of his back burps.
Pardon me. So she leaves and is having tea with this old lady. Brendan, while is at that back of the house testing K-9's metal. He wants to see soil samples. He's
like waste.
Yeah, he wants to know what this dog is capable.
Yeah,
of.
what the dog's capable of. He's like, can you do some soap? He's like, well, I need some samples. So he goes out and he gets a piece of paper and he puts some soils and clumps it up. Whole while, that Tracy dude is watching from afar, right?
Like a creeper.
Yeah, he's in a greenhouse.
Like a gripper. He's fucking
He's a
back there
gripper.
like a gripper.
Thank you for your fan feedback, by the way. We discussed it on the last episode.
That's good. I'm glad. Glad I could clear that mystery up.
Sarah, you find out here, used to be a journalist, and she finds out that her aunt used to write about witchcraft, which, again, you had mentioned before, but is odd. That
Kooky witchcraft.
Why would a scientist write about witchcraft?
What was that?
Is that your
Are
kid?
you awake?
Oh, boy. This is the stuff in the middle. You got to be awake for this. So she used to be. She's writing about witchcraft, and then some believe like the black art, like locally, the residents think that helps the crops grow, which is the lifeblood of this town. And Sarah is meeting. She's meeting with Lily while they're talking about all this stuff.
She heads back to her mansion that her aunt owns or whatever, and Brendan is very excited to tell her that K-9 has done a whole soil analysis.
Yep.
Now here's the thing: if I had a friend whose aunt was missing, all of a sudden this huge mechanical robot who knows everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be worrying about soil. I would be like, hey, how about while she's gone, we try to figure out where the fuck this ant is? No, instead we're just going to check some soil samples.
But he loves it because this kid is taking classes in science, in agriculture, and so this is very interesting to him.
You said the word.
Oh well, no, we're past the interesting facts section. I
have like
is that the word
flashbacks.
I'm sorry.
It's like a trigger now.
You went through something very traumatic.
Just don't yell at me anymore, guys.
Sarah at this point decides, you know what? I am going to go to Julia's house for a drink. They asked me over. I'm heading over there. And it's a fancy shindig, right? This is where you were talking about earlier. The party is very loud. Uh-huh. So everyone's wearing suits and evening gowns. They got nice drinks. There's like orchestra music playing in the background. Tails. Oh boy, all the tops are there. Are you a power top, Blake?
I'm power bottom.
Nice.
High five that shit.
Did you wash your hand first?
Sarah at the party meets Henry Tobias. He's the editor of a local standard. I don't know if that's like slang for a newspaper, but I don't feel like his character comes into play. But I don't know that,
right?
So I'm writing every fucking name that I can.
Yeah. Exactly. That's that. I mean, I've got a back to back and another half. I got 3 pages of notes here, and to be honest with you, at the end of it, none of them mean a damn fucking thing.
Now who looks like the idiot? I didn't take notes. I just watched it.
We're the idiots.
Yeah.
We brought that up the last episode.
How stupid we are. Brendan is still learning about K-9's abilities. He's learning. He's spending time with him, asking him questions or having conversation, just like you and I would, except in a voice that sounds like affirmative. That's exactly right. And while they're doing such, they hear a little crack, a little crackle, a crash, something in the hall, and they say, "Hey," Brendan's like, "Hey, what's going on? Who's out there?" Right?
Who is you?
It wasn't a friend of his. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. No. And he goes down the hall, kind of looks, and all of a sudden gets attacked from behind
by two thuggish, ruggish men.
2?
Thuggish, ruggish bone, I would say.
Yeah, just one.
I thought there was 2 of them.
There was definitely 2.
Was there? I thought it was just Peter.
It was pretty dark, but... Pretty dark. There was 2.
It's not that kind of show.
Yeah.
When Brendan hears this, he gets up, and without a doubt, I see at this point, Brendan is a nerd, and he is like a baby. He's a thin, baby-faced little nerd. He's a scrawny little guy, and he will be bested by anyone physically.
Right.
He's attacked by 2 fuckers, and then K-9 zaps him. He zaps the shit out of one of these guys.
That's how you know there's 2, because one of them gets zapped.
And he zaps him with the worst special effects
ever. Hold on.
Now, I would think
it comes out of like the little plastic.
It's just
dart.
It's just a green line on the screen that appears and disappears. Here's the thing. I would assume. I've never seen. So I'm assuming, and when I assume, I make an ass out of myself. Okay. But I'm assuming that Doctor Who's probably got some special effects in it, right?
Yes.
I think it's known for its shitty effects. That's part of its charm, right?
It used to be.
But isn't that part of its charm, though?
Yeah, now it has like a huge budget.
So these cheap, shitty effects are in tune with the rest of it. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Maybe it's a little shittier. You know, this is like a spinoff and stuff. It's not going to be high on their payroll.
Just another thing. It's another thing you can look up on your fucking Siri or whatever is How much is a quid?
A quid?
Yeah,
You mentioned quid a handful of times. That's British,
Right.
I think, slang. Like we would say bucks, maybe.
Yeah, it's just another.
Am I bringing up details that are very unnecessary to bring up?
No,
No,
we may as
it's
well talk about it.
it's £1 sterling. So if you you hear pound,
Duh.
and then you also hear quid, and they're essentially like the same kind of thing. So if something's £5, that isn't like. For a long time, I thought it was like double a pound, like. 1 quid is equal to $2 or something. So if it was £5, it's like 10 pounds. No, it's just
1 for 1.
Yeah,
Okay. Ratio's 1 for 1 on the quid and pounds. Make sense?
it just sounds cooler to say, man.
Yeah, but they do say it, right? He says.
Oh, yeah,
He says
yeah.
500 quid. He says 7,500 quid. at one
Well,
point.
yeah, exactly. And
It's just it's like you said, like bucks. It's an informal
Yeah.
word for money.
But K-9 zaps this dude in the back who's attacking Brendan. And this is the 1980s where lasers are king, right? I don't feel like you hear about lasers a lot anymore.
No.
But in the 1980s, lasers were everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Laser cats.
Oh, laser
Olin Mills photos.
Owen Mills. I'd love that reference. Oh, my. The laser beam knocks the Prowler out. The other one says, "Oh shit, I'm out of here." And we find out later it's father and son, and the
Yep.
father
Okay.
like fucking leaves his son there.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty shitty.
And so Brendan ties up the younger fella
With a tie.
with a tie. It doesn't do a very good job of
no,
it.
not. Well, and he's also like begging him off, like, you got to get a.
Yeah, you gotta get out of
away.
here.
Like,
You gotta get out of here.
yeah, don't blame me. I'm just a messenger.
I'm just doing what my dad tells me to
Yeah, I was
before he
saying, this
rapes
He's
me.
gonna beat me.
You
Yeah.
find out there's something much larger. And if you listen to the last episode, Dustin, you'll understand that reference entirely.
Oh, perfect. I love a good sodomy reference.
Who does it? There's obviously something much bigger and evil happening in this episode, and young Brendan is oblivious to all of it. But
Because he's worried about soil samples.
all he wants to do is get his fucking hands on some soil.
He's like, I don't know who's dying, who's disappearing, who's Satan here.
Give me that soil.
I just want to see some motherfucking soil samples, man.
So you got the father and son team of George and Peter Tracy attacking Brendan, but Peter, the kid, is like, hey.
I don't want to do this.
He's the good bad guy. He's the one that's cracking and saying, "I don't want any part of this. You need to get out of here."
And find out later on he does have a criminal record, and that's probably why he's like, "Hey man, I don't want to be involved in this. This Satan shit's all fucked up, and I got a criminal record. I'm gonna go back to the pen."
Yep, that's exactly right.
I'm gonna have
You
to
know what
get-
they'll do to somebody who looks like me?
Yeah, they're gonna put it in my quid or quid or whatever.
They're gonna give me one
Stick
quid
it
in
in
the
your
front
in a
craw.
fortnight.
and 1 quid in the back.
1 quid in the back on a fortnight. Every fortnight, I'm going to get a quid right in the back.
So Brendan tied him up poorly, like you said, with a tie. He's questioning him, trying to get some information. Meanwhile, K-9 is outside patrolling, and he totally misses George Tracy.
Yeah.
And he knocks over a bunch of shit.
Yeah, makes a huge noise. I don't understand how its aim can be so good when it's shooting a
Well,
bad guy with a
here-
laser,
but
but
here's
yet
the-
it bumps into
I'll
a
explain
ladder.
it. I'll explain it because this is the one thing I fucking understand from this show.
All right.
He's going through and he pokes his nose tube out.
Yeah.
And he sniffs that gnome. And obviously,
Yeah.
a dog had pissed on that gnome before.
Affirmative.
So he gets taken back. And then it's when he hits the ladders, which all 17 of them are lined up together right in front of this glass case of plants.
Yep.
So that's why he knocked them all over, is because he smelled that gnome, and there was dog piss from Jesper.
detected.
From Jesper.
It's pretty good. Pretty good, K-9. They go back to the party at this point. Sarah's still over there, and she's talking to that Henry guy about witchcraft being bogus and silly, and he gives Sarah this card. And it's building a little bit here, but the Henry guy is not. Why?
No.
Why are we doing this? So you find out after that it was George and Peter that attacked Brendan, and Peter escaped. He got away.
Yeah, they did a nice close up to see him get out of that great tied up tie job there.
Right.
Yeah, he easily got out of there. Then they're talking to a mystery person. They're both coming into a room and say, "Hey, I escaped, Dad." They're talking to a guy. You don't know who the guy is. It doesn't show the guy, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of satanic stuff on the table. A lot of pagan ritual
There's
items.
and there's
Babies.
there's a big knife right in the middle of this table, and
Oddly dark for something. But I mean, you know what? I'm not used to the BBC and what was kosher in that era. So, but in America, that would be pretty dark.
Doctor Who had some episodes back then around the late 70s that were fairly dark. that I can recall watching. Maybe not quite to this level.
Pagan,
yeah, I
sacrificial.
mean, there was a little bit. There's one that comes to mind specifically called The Demons that was from the Third Doctor. Check that out if you want to.
Nerd. No.
Sarah returns home, and Brendan tells her what happened, and she seems like almost unfazed by it. She's like, all right, just lock all the doors.
During this whole thing, what I found out about Sarah and British people in general, when something bad happens, if it's after 6 o'clock, they're like, fuck it, we'll wait till tomorrow, we'll just go to bed. It happens like 3 times in this show. Something, somebody's distraught or something bad happens. Burglars came in here. That's 7:30. Fuck it, we'll just go to bed.
Me and the missus, we gonna pop off to bed right now.
Time does seem to be like, it's always the next day. Or
Yeah,
we see it in the morning, and all of a sudden it's that night.
Why investigate today where you can put off till tomorrow?
That's right. Just like Wimpy once said.
Countdown's
Popeye,
going to be on TV. They can't miss that.
Can't miss it. The next day, they survey the greenhouse damage with Bill, and George looks on as he assesses the damage. And then George and Brendan discuss like a hidden tunnel on the property. And then here's where they talk about all the pH levels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agricultural talk in this show. And to me, it doesn't necessarily tie into anything
Maybe that's
greater.
the demographic they were going for.
Farmers? A
Yeah,
lot of UK
horticulturalists.
farmers.
It's an untapped market on the TV scene.
The police then arrive, in which it's not much at this point, but the police play a bigger role later in the show. Peter and then some other guy discuss getting rid of the kid. Who is this guy? Do you know? Who? I think this is the mystery person from the previous scene. Who is this other figure that Peter and George are both working with, and is seemingly with this satanic cult? No, I don't know.
I can't tell you.
I don't know either.
I got so fucking lost.
I will say that Brendan is hesitant. He seems like he doesn't want to be part of this. He's looking pretty
Peter
good.
doesn't want to be involved in it.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just making sure
You're
for the
right, Peter.
listeners.
There's a lot of names.
But
There's a lot of names,
A lot of people.
a lot of things going on in this.
Peter's looking good, though, right? Isn't he looking good in that jacket? I'm digging the leather jacket.
You'd throw him one?
I'd throw him one.
I think he was.
I'd throw him a couple quid.
I think he was actually in Greece.
Oh,
Yeah.
was he?
Was he Kinnicky? No.
He's a T-bird, huh?
Kinnicky.
He was a short guy that. Yeah.
The next scene, Sarah's back at the house, and she's typing on a computer that has no monitor. I thought that was very bizarre.
I thought it was just a typewriter.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
There are times where I'm like,
That's a slam dunk right there. You fucking nailed that.
Loved it. Spiked it.
Brendan is attacked again.
you've got a robot dog
Yeah.
that has all this information, and yet you're typing on a fucking typewriter. Why don't you just sit there next to the dog, say what you want,
Just dictate to
and
it, right?
Yeah, dict.
Right?
Yeah.
The word dick is
Funny.
hilarious.
I was laughing about taint. Dictate.
Dictate?
Dick Taint. That's an old neighbor of mine. Brendan is kidnapped, and then they're like showing the kidnapper like cutting some ivy off the wall. What was that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I wasn't quite sure on that too. Like, oh, maybe they're gonna make some tea.
Mimosos.
What did you say? Mimosos?
Mimosos.
Oh, mimosas. I thought you said homosos. That's not that kind of show. Yeah.
Not that kind of show.
We just said the same thing. You got to high five that. K-9, this is when I noticed that K-9 keeps calling Sarah mistress, like you've been saying. Why does he call her that? Is he fucking her on the side?
It's a submissive thing, like
Really?
yeah.
Tell us more about that, Dustin.
In some of the Doctor Who episodes,
Here we go.
she was known to wear a lot of leather and carry a whip.
Oh,
This is
mercy.
episode what?
And-
Which episode is this?
Just for our notes.
Which doctor?
Which doctor?
No, which doctor?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Not which doctor woman?
I call the witch doctor, and this is
Tell me what to do.
Affirmative. Next morning, again, another day goes by. Sarah wakes up. She's looking for Brendan. His bed is unused, and the telephone's dead. She can't find him. She says, you know what? I know who's behind this. And essentially she does, but it takes her a while to get there. She says, K-9, go ahead and you stay here. And he says, okay, I'll stay back, and I'll kind of strategize on what to do next. So Sarah goes to the police with Bill and accuses Peter Tracy, but Peter is now missing as well.
Right.
Yep.
And the police are really not doing a lot about it.
Oh no, they're just hanging out.
Yeah, the Bobbies. They're just,
Bobby, they don't have any
chilling.
guns.
No.
Why don't they have any guns?
Small village.
Yeah. Bill and Sarah then go to speak with George Tracy, but they can't find him. And then while they're talking about what their strategy is and what they plan to do, they leave off camera, and then George comes from behind a bush. Now, why do people who
He's always behind bushes. He's always
in
behind
love.
like greenhouses. He just loves lurking.
Why do people who eavesdrop? Why are they always revealing themselves to the camera after having eavesdropped? Huh?
Just
stay hidden.
To be honest with you, earlier in my notes, this has a very baffled feel to it,
You know what? You're right.
visually and just
There's a lot of
the
British-
creepiness, the mysterious.
It's like the guy on Laughing. They're like
Come out the door.
peeks in through the bushes.
I wonder how big that light was when he was born.
Back then, there were a lot more.
The world
bushes, I
will never
think.
know. Yeah.
Brendan is sleeping on some dirty mattresses, and so a couple of assholes talk about human sacrifice.
And they shine a bright light in his face.
Yeah, one of which is like one of them's a police officer.
Right, one of them
Yeah.
is the police officer from the.
You knew they were involved.
Oh,
That's
they're-
why they were so aloof.
The police, they're corrupt, even in Britain.
Yeah.
That night, Sarah meets with K-9, and K-9 reports what he has heard because he heard those guys, and they came into the mansion talking, and he was hidden behind the stairs or something, and he overheard them talking about the human sacrifice. So now he knows what's up with
Right,
Brendan.
and so when the cop leaves, the next time they show him, he's riding a bicycle at night. If you're a cop, why are you riding a bicycle?
It was a different time, my friend.
Yeah.
Sarah and K-9 come across his body.
That's it. That's the cop.
Yeah, in the middle of the road, and a goat is nearby. And at this point, I wonder, is the goat the killer?
Could be.
Anytime somebody mentions a goat, I just think those cute little goats
Parkour goat.
just fucking bouncing off each other.
Parkour.
I'll put a lavender link up to one of those videos.
Thank you very much. So Wilson was the police officer.
Keep it on your phone.
Right.
Is
Rule
he,
number 4A.
Is he a witch or is the cop a witch? I don't know at this point.
Wouldn't they be a warlock?
Yeah, witches women, warlocks men, right?
That's what I've been told.
Peter doesn't want any part. Peter Tracy, the young boy with the leather coat, he doesn't want anything to do with this witch coven. But his dad pressures him.
Yeah, his dad's like, you're the chosen one. Like, you are chosen for this.
Chosen for what?
It's almost like Jesus and God.
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
no.
No. Yeah, he's the Messiah for the coven. And he doesn't want that role.
How cool would Jesus look in a leather jacket, huh? Am I right, guys?
Oh, like the Fonz.
Jesus as the Fonz.
He's going to jump that shark and just keep on going.
When's Family Guy going to do that
He's
shit?
going to jump that bench he made out of wood.
And then here you hear that chant of handkerchief again.
Yep.
Handkerchief.
Another ritual. Black robes, goat masks, young Peter. He's in red. Apparently he's the chosen one for something. I don't know. What the hell's going on? Well, why are they doing that? Are they doing this for the crops? It seems to be agricultural centric. Are they doing this?
Maybe.
It has something to do with the harvest and the moon or something because
The
They're
solstice.
always
Solstice, that's what it is.
Summer solstice.
Winter solstice. Then you got the fall. and-
Autumnal equinox.
Right, the equinox. That's
Fucking,
right.
you guys are a bunch of fucking nerds.
The fall and spring
Nerd.
equinox.
You guys,
You're like an
What-
ogre.
besides a podcast, when are you ever using these conversations, these big fucking words you guys know?
Do you have something you want to tell us?
No, I just,
I feel like you have something you want to say to us.
Onomatopoeia.
that's a lot of quid for those words.
Yeah.
Those are $5 words.
I'm still paying. For those words. Student loans are a bitch.
Sarah tells
didn't go
skeptical
to
folks about the situation, and she's trying to gain support. Who are these people she's talking? Is this Lily and her husband?
Well, this is the party couple. Is what I wrote down. These are the people that she went to go see originally.
Okay, so this is Julia and whoever that guy who seemed
the
to be
background.
creepy in the
Right,
background.
right.
Okay, so these people are a red herring. Is that right? That we were
There's a lot of those on this show.
okay.
I feel.
because spoiler alert: the aunt missing has nothing to do with anything. So she was kind of a red herring.
Oh, yeah. She's just like, hey,
Right?
what's up?
And that was in the summaries that where she's trying to find her fucking aunt. It's a goddamn red herring. And then here you got this couple, which seems to be a competitor of the deodorant business.
They're like, yeah, we're going to invite you over and we'll make sure you're back before midnight.
yeah, she's like, come over for dinner.
Because that's the whole thing is midnight's the cutoff or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
For the autumnal thingy. And then, but they're like, yeah, come over for dinner. And you're thinking, no, Sarah Jane, don't go. They're
Right.
trying to distract you. And they're like, we'll have you back by midnight because we're going to be killing somebody before then.
Yeah, to me, it's like they were the buffer couple. Like when you're in a swingers club,
Yeah.
you know.
Sure.
I have no idea.
Oh well, when you're in a swingers club, they often have buffer couples where let's say you're a new couple, all right, and then you're just kind of you're going around for the first time, and there's couples that want to do stuff with people. Well, they have
that's kind of the point. I think
they have buffer couples that kind of like bring you in.
They wax on and then proceed to wax off.
They help bring the two together. That's what I'm trying to say.
Are buffer couples employed by the swinger facility?
No, I think it's just older ones that can't have sex anymore.
buffer couple.
Sex anymore?
Buffer couples. No, I think that they're ones that they can't have sex anymore. Really, their sex drives are down, but they still enjoy.
They still want to watch people do it, though.
Still enjoy the hunt.
They just love hanging out.
Yeah, I just like smelling it in the air.
I love sweet, sweet Penny. So these
a quib for your thoughts.
It'd be a pence.
Fucking this stuff.
Shilling?
I'm never going to Britain. I'll just say that.
a tuppence.
Tuppence a bag. Tuppence a thought.
Tuppence.
Tuppence a bag.
This point in the show, I say Sarah Jane is attractive. I succumb to the thought that she is a sexy broad for 1981.
And I'll be honest, she's still attractive when she shows up in Doctor Who, like all those years later.
I'll have to check that
Still a
out.
fine-looking older woman.
Well, she's wearing black gloves indoors for some reason. I don't know why she's wearing these gloves.
She did it before OJ.
Yeah. K-9 then requests a map of the area. He says, I want churches on this. They discuss the upcoming solstice and what that may have to do with Brendan's sacrifice.
Yeah, he's trying to figure stuff out. And then she just unfolds it sporadically in front of him, and he quickly, like, his
detected 5 churches in proximity. Beep, boop, boop, beep.
You can't even see all the pages. Like, you couldn't even see the whole map, but he's already detected 5. You know what? There could have been a 6th one. It just wasn't unfolded yet, but he didn't fucking wait a minute.
The next day, Sarah is almost hit by a tractor, and she thinks, I think people are trying to kill me.
Yeah, we don't even see just some mysterious foot like takes the parking brake off and throws it into gear.
A man enters the police station. I don't know who this guy is. It may be one of the people in the couple that she was talking to, and there's no one at the police station. It's empty. Right. It's bizarre. So something is happening. Night has fallen, and Sarah is checking all around these different church sites that the K-9 is located, and she's not finding anything.
Handkerchief.
The chant comes in again. Absolutely.
Listeners, if you watch this and you know what they're saying, call us, write into us. I still think they're saying handkerchief.
The ritual is to be completed tonight at midnight, and K-9 says it's 11:57. We're checking all these places. We haven't found Brendan yet. The time's running out.
Right.
Then Brendan is led to the site. They go back to where Brendan is, and he's being led to where he's going to be sacrificed. Everyone's wearing black.
He's wearing white.
Peter was wearing red, and yes, he's wearing white. And then you got the goat waving frankincense and myrrh.
Goat people. Yeah.
How cool are those masks, right?
Oh, they were badass.
They were the best part of the show, really.
Yeah, because you see him at the beginning. I was like, oh, all right, this might be pretty cool.
Right.
And then,
shit.
Yeah,
like, this is a Dio video or it's a Doctor Who spinoff.
Holy diver! We're going to sacrifice somebody for the solstice.
R.I.P. Brendan is then placed on the sacrificial slab, and it's the K-9 says it's 11:59 and like 35 seconds. And he's like, and I was wondering, how is everyone's swatches synced at this point, right?
Well, no, it was
the 80s. They probably were wearing swatches.
Well, here's the thing.
They had the colors and everything.
Yeah.
If you in real timed it from 11:58 to 11:59:30. She drives about 14 miles, gets out of the car, finds her way to where this is going on, all in like 30 seconds.
Hurry up, mistress. You're running out of time.
The goat man goes to kill Brendan, and then K-9 rolls in like some badass vacuum cleaner and zaps that motherfucker right in the back.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of zapping going on.
Oh, my God.
I want to know what they were dipping that knife into in the chalice, though. Like, they dunk it like a dunkaroo, and then they're going to, like, stab them.
Wax.
Like
it's
a stabberoo.
wax.
It's wax, you
Yeah,
think?
it's wax.
Okay.
I know all about satanic rituals and stabbing
really?
people.
Jesus. Brendan is safe, and it's just a laser light show at this point.
Yeah.
It was like the wall.
Play some Pink Floyd at the Lasorium.
I think at this point they sync up the Wizard of Oz and K-9 zapping everyone. It's perfect. And so Sarah unmasks everyone, and it's like all the town folk, and they're doing some weird ass shit.
Right. So she only demasks 2 people, right? A man and a woman.
Yep.
Is the woman the post office lady with the T from earlier?
I still don't know. I was so confused.
Right.
Like I was expecting it to be the red herring couple.
Right.
And I was like,
No.
was that them?
Yeah,
That didn't look like
I
them.
think it was the lady she had tea with, who I thought she was supposed to go to the post office, and the guy I thought was Bill. When she took off the mask, I thought it was Bill.
Yeah.
A lot of these old white British motherfuckers look exactly the same. I think they did this because they believe that these kind of ceremonies made their crops prosperous and kept the town alive. I think they thought they were doing something good through some weird fucking mythology.
It's a tale as old as time.
Exactly.
Isn't that like a Children of the Corn? Wasn't that something similar?
Probably, yeah.
The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. That's classic literature. Same kind of thing.
Tale of Two Thieves.
Yep. Tale of Two Cities, which apparently my daughter thinks that the Tale of Two Cities is about France and England.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, those are good cities. Honor student.
Everyone's then back at the house enjoying tea.
Yeah, it comes to find out the party people, the buffer couple,
They're totally cool.
Oh, they're not involved in it at all. They're not involved at all in it.
Aunt Levine, or Avril Lavigne calls Aunt Levine. They clear up all the confusion about
Merry
where
Christmas.
she was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've just been gone. I don't. She's like,
bitch, I'm on holiday.
yeah. She's like, why didn't you call me? I can take care of myself.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with you.
K-9 is singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." Credits roll. Turbulence begins.
Handkerchief.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing the zone of turbulence.
You guys are
Is that
going to
really a
kill.
handkerchief?
It is.
You guys are about to stab me, aren't you?
Yeah, you're dead, man. Let me just dip this knife in some wax.
We get a couple iron spikes in us, and we're ready for sacrificing.
Dustin, why didn't this show work? As being an avid Doctor Who fan, what went wrong with K-9 and
It
company?
just wasn't good. The writing was pretty rough, and I'm going to be honest. The old Doctor Who's, they're very slow. They used to be half-hour serials, and they would stretch a story out over the course of like a month and a half. And some of those are really rough to sit through. This would be similar to some of those ones. It seemed to drag on a long time. I had the thought while watching it, oh, I bet Blake hates me right now. And it just, the writing wasn't great.
Do you think that if
It had potential. I think with a better storyline, this could have been something. Would it be limited by having a robot dog? Yeah. But, you know.
But do you think that if they... I'll wait because that goes on to something else, how we would make it better.
Go ahead. How would you improve this?
Well, I'm just saying, you said they had these, these serials.
Mm-hmm.
Take this story, split it up, get more...
Do a little more character development.
A little bit more character development.
Yeah.
I can keep up with it.
Yeah, I can see
It's
that's-
going to be a little drier, but with these many characters in this stuff,
But that wouldn't work for a pilot because then it's like you're only getting a fraction of
what?
the story.
he's good.
So
He's good.
He's
yeah.
good. To me, there
Give the guy
were
a podcast.
there were too many characters, and they were easily confused with one another. So I couldn't keep keep track.
No, I had the same
I
problem.
couldn't invest in any one
Right.
side character because I didn't know who they were going to be, or from one scene to another, I couldn't tell who they were.
And I barely cared about Brendan. Like,
Yeah.
he got kidnapped, is like, whatever,
Yeah,
he's
that's
kind
cool.
of a douche.
Right.
You know?
Where would this have gone, do you think, if it had survived?
Well, apparently K-9 was working for the Master, so
Yeah.
that could have been
Evil intent,
something.
huh?
Yeah.
Now, is the Master really an evil guy, or just because
Well, yes and no. He usually is always trying to thwart the Doctor's plans and always tries putting the planet Earth or whatever in jeopardy, and the Doctor has to save him. And it goes on and on and on, and then he'll disappear for a while. You think he's gone. Then a few years later,
boom,
comes up,
The
and
Master.
like the Master's back now, and he's a woman. Because he regenerates as well.
because he's
much
just
like the
he's
Doctor.
an alien like the Doctor.
He's a Time Lord, yeah. So this most recent one came back, and it was a character named Missy, and then it was revealed Missy is the Master.
Now,
Master.
Blake, I often call you the Master. How would
thank
you,
you, thank you.
Master? How would you improve this if it survived?
I would have done exactly what I said. I mean, you can't put this... The BBC should, with all the success of Doctor Who, and they only do 10 or 12 episodes of stuff anyway. Just go ahead and sign up on this. The chick is hot, and she's known by all of the Doctor Whoers. This K-9 fucking robot rolling dog. Just same storyline. You can have in a series, you can have a couple of different stories that she has to deal with. But I mean, you're cramming so much in. It's very difficult. For me.
It seems like they kind of did what I thought they should do later, like within the past 6-7 years, is make a kid's show out of it. This could have, I think, survived as more of a fun kid's show because that robot dog is pretty silly.
Pretty cheesy.
It can't do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's totally cheesy. It couldn't do a lot. If it had survived, I'd say, hey, don't be so satanic. Maybe delve into kids' territory. Maybe that's where it should have gone instead.
Like molestation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good God, man.
Different Strokes had an episode about that.
Right. So, I mean,
Doctor Who never did.
As much as the people were clamoring for it, they never had an episode about molestation.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
From the conception of Couch Pilots in the very beginning, I said, let's get Rotten Tomatoes scores on these episodes. Almost none of them have them. I check every time. Almost none of them, because a lot of these are old, and they're one-off things, so people don't give a shit about them. There's actually a score on Rotten Tomatoes for this 1981 Doctor Who spinoff, and it's 33% of the audience liked it.
33% fresh.
Yeah. IMDb score. Did you cheat, Blake? I got to ask. Okay.
I've been running Minicam.
All right, gentlemen, both of you, would you like to venture a guess at what the IMDb score was for this?
Okay, I'm gonna guess that some Whovians are gonna give it a nice rating just because. So I'm gonna say 6.2.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's all about the Whovians and these motherfuckers who have nothing better to do. They are gonna.
Hey, I was on vacation.
No.
I had a paid holiday. Thank you, sir.
You know what? We're friends. Don't take this personally. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about all the other motherfuckers.
You've called me nerd.
No.
5 times.
I've not called you specifically a nerd. I'm just... Anyway, I digress. They've padded this score on IMDb. They have to have. 7.2.
Dustin is almost right on. It is a 6.3. I think he said 6.2.
I did.
And
so I win the Showcase Showdown.
You do win the Showcase Showdown for sure. And that's from 340 ratings. So not the most we've had, but far from the least. Critic reviews. Graham Howard from DoctorWho.com says, in all, K-9 and Company is nothing spectacular, but reasonably enjoyable. Probably not something you'd go out of your way to see, but nevertheless certainly worth a look, especially for the diehard K-9 or Sarah Jane fan. J.P. Roscoe from Basement Reject says, K-9 and Company, A Girl's Best Friend, should have been given another shot after a decent first outing here. Sarah Jane did end up returning with the relaunch of Doctor Who in the second season and starred in her own series of the Sarah Jane Adventures until her death in 2011. It's a fun bonus to a pretty good episode of Doctor Who and makes Doctor Who, the Invisible Enemy, worth picking up. Let's see. Sean, I don't know where he's from, I apologize, but they said the pilot episode-wise, K-9 and Company makes a pretty decent stab of it with A Girl's Best Friend. Considering that it pulled in over 8 million viewers, it did seem odd that a series wasn't commissioned. Who knows what other gems may have been gotten, and we had more of Sarah Jane, K-9, and Brendan working together. He gives it his own personal rating of 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Viewer reviews. I'm just going to read through some of these headlines because there's a lot out there. Hardly brilliant, but not bad. K-9 would say affirmative.
Affirmative.
Spinoffs rarely succeed. Not popular, but I like it. What else? People say, too bad this didn't become a series. A sweet, nostalgic, festive spinoff. One woman and her dog needed more to engage me or have me consider it
peanut butter.
Unintentionally hilarious. Peanut butter. Someone says peanut butter. No way to treat a loyal dog. Sarah gets a spinoff. Is it any good? Negative. So
negative.
Kind of a mixed bag here, which could only lead me to say, what do we think about this?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
What a long, strange trip it's been. Am I right, guys?
That's true.
We've learned so much.
We've traveled in time.
Handkerchief.
Handkerchief. This show has given us so much. We need to give something back in the form of a rating. Based on the classic TV show's wings from the 90s. I think I'm a little buzzed here. I'm sorry. From the classic TV show Wings from the 1990s. Based on the 1 through 7 scale. A number 1 being a Roy Biggins. A number 7 being a Brian Hackett. That's the best you can get. You can't get better than 7. We've given out some 7s.
I have.
You have too. I think Super Clyde.
Super Clyde.
Right?
2015.
Correct.
Great version.
It's been a while since I did it.
Wow. Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn to you. How do you rate K-9 and Company?
Okay. I am not a Doctor Who fan. You know what? I take that back. I can't say I'm not a fan because I've never watched. I think I've watched it one time over at BJ's when I was in Pennsylvania. I don't know which Doctor it was. I don't know. It's not my bag. I don't like British TV. I can't stand it. This embarks the Crystal Cube.
Oh boy!
Totally.
This gave you nightmares of the Crystal Cube.
I couldn't. There was so much going on in this thing. Sarah Jessica Parker, whatever her name is, she's good looking. All right, that robot
Cancer bump.
That cancer bump.
Keep in mind your cancer bump,
Yes.
please, sir. We have to find out if it's a malignant or a benign bump.
It's benign.
Oh, revealed.
Woohoo!
I'm giving this a 2 with the cancer bump.
Oh wow, that's pretty bad. That's pretty rough stuff.
I was disappointed that it took so long to get this over with.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
I was correct.
And I apologize.
You don't have to apologize.
Well,
for
I
this.
feel as though
the rating is your own.
I feel as though I am the odd man out here. Like I'm the satanic goat hat guy with a knife, and you guys are just some K-9 is over here, and you're Sarah just trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm the one stabbing people with my wax knife.
Dustin.
Yeah.
Moving
on.
Yeah. You're a huge Doctor Who fan. I got to ask, this is a spinoff, and there's been other spinoffs over the years. It sounds like you've indulged in a little bit of those.
Yeah.
But how taking all of that in, you probably have more than any of us to take in and regurgitate.
Sure.
How do you rate K-9 and Company?
I gave it a 3.
You gave it a 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, not great.
No. I hoped for better because when I suggested it, I hadn't even seen it yet. So this was my first time.
Well, how did you know
it.
about it then, if I can ask?
It was just one of those things I'd heard about, and I knew about the more recent K-9 series that wasn't technically affiliated with Doctor Who. But I was reading some article, and it mentioned pilot of K-9 and Company. I was like, oh, shit.
You're like, I have to call 910 Pilots 1.
And I left a message, and you are really unhappy that I did that.
No, I'm not. I'm not unhappy that you did it. Believe me, I'm not. I've seen The Tribe. I am not unhappy that you did this. I appreciate it, and I'm always willing to watch whatever pilot a fan suggests. I have no problem watching
Even
it.
if Mason Reese makes a new one?
You know what?
Boy.
Let's close the book on Mason
Well,
Reese.
let's take the time to do that, please. I assumed, and wrongly so, that you had already seen this.
No, I
that's
watched
interesting.
it for the first time today.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was new for me.
And as for me, not being someone who has seen the Doctor Who series, I would also agree with you, though. I would say this is a 3.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters here. I couldn't wrap my mind around a lot of it. I think it was a little ahead of its time in some of the dark areas that it went. It was fun and cheesy with the dog. There's some interesting aspects of it. It wasn't great. It wasn't even that good. But it wasn't the worst thing I've seen by far. So I'm going to give it a 3 as well.
That's an average score of a 2.666.
Oh, boy. Aptly so.
Goat.
Oh,
Handkerchief.
mercy. And with that, we will... And with the chant of handkerchief, we will close the book on K-9 and Company forever. Ever. Never to be mentioned again. But we're not done. There's so much more work to be done, and we're just the stupid-ass motherfuckers to do that work. Join us next time, won't you please, when we talk about the pilot episode of Hi-Oh, Honey, I'm Home.
Oh.
Here's a little something to whet your whistle. In Berlin, 1938, Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun have a love-hate relationship with their Jewish neighbors in this bizarre spoof of 50s American sitcoms. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube.
And you know what to do, too.
Nice. High five that.
I don't have to. I've seen it.
Have you seen this one
Yes,
already?
I've seen it.
Now, we haven't seen it yet. And without
Enjoy.
without any explanation at all, and probably not being on the next week's show, I'm sorry, what would you give that rating? This is an exclusive.
Probably between a 4 and a 5.
Okay,
All right.
not bad.
Yeah.
So our first ever pre-rating.
That's a pre-rating. That's right. I've heard of pre-cum, but a pre-rating. CouchPilotspodcast@gmail.com. Send us a message there. Tell us about an interesting fact of Adolf Hitler that we don't know. Tell us about pre-cum. Have you got a girl pregnant from pre-cum? I don't know. It's possible. I've heard.
That's what I hear.
Have you ever bled doing a podcast?
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't
Facebook.
speak.
I know just what you're thinking. I don't need your reason.
And I know what you're thinking. You'll go to Facebook and like us at Couch Pilots Podcast and tell your friends about the show. Go to Twitter, Couch Pilots Pod. You're going to find out before anyone else what's coming down the pike as I reach out to the creators, directors, writers, and stars of upcoming pilots. Instagram, Couch_Pilots_podcast. All the great fan artwork that Blake puts together here and puts online. Give us a call, 910-PILOTS-1. We are sitting here today talking about K-9 and Company because Dustin picked up the phone and dialed 910-745-6871 and told us about a pilot he was interested in.
You should do it. And you know what? I may rewatch what you guys are watching next week and call in with a phone call about that.
We would love it.
Now you have it on speed dial, correct? You have it.
I do. I actually have
Nice.
a program because I was driving the last time I called, which I probably shouldn't be doing, but whatever. I'll own it up to it.
Okay.
And I programmed it in because that's too
All right.
complicated
Great.
for me to look up the letters.
All right. Well, I appreciate. I if it wasn't for our fan feedback, our listenership, it really adds a whole new effect.
It really does.
And I heard Tyler's call was a doozy.
Oh, boy.
He got 1 million frequent flyer points.
That's fantastic.
he's really
Good
rocking
on you, Tyler.
FCFnetwork.com. Go there. Dustin Show, Drunken Lullabies. You got the Low Blow podcast. You've got the Blunder Years. I don't know if you've heard of this, Dustin. This is a new show.
I've heard about it.
Okay.
I have not listened yet. Sorry, Adam. But I will check that out. I love Kevin Arnold. He's
Yep.
great. Winnie Cooper, Paul.
Love them all.
They're fantastic. Butthead. What's his name?
IBWIP. Check that show out. The song Inside and Out, Sex with Heather. The old episodes of that are still available. Go out there. Check. Am I missing anyone? I think that's everyone on the network,
I think
right?
that's everybody.
Yeah, check us out. It's all free. It's all fun. You're going to find something out there that you enjoy that's entertaining to you. Anything else you want to add before we go today, Blake?
No, I just want to again thank Dustin for being on the show.
Yep.
Thank you for having me.
We didn't really talk about it, but I want to thank you for getting it up,
Yes, and I want to thank you for doing all the stuff in the middle.
and I want to thank you for bringing it there.
my pleasure.
Getting the plane up. I was wondering what happened on the last
It was
episode.
a quid.
Okay.
I got a quid on my back.
Absolutely. I want to second that emotion that you said. Dustin, thank you so much for being back on, recommending this show, and allowing us to really dig into it and understanding kind of some of the mythology behind Doctor Who.
And furthering Blake's hatred for British television.
That's right. Well, Hi Honey, I'm Home, I believe, is British, so get ready for that.
But it's not. But it's going to come off as German. It's
pretty tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Plus, it's kind of racist humor. So
Well, that's not the kind of show this is.
you're going to have Big E on for that episode.
You know what?
Expect a knock on his door.
Expect a knock on his door.
He'll be waiting for you.
This pilot may have been
He's going to
rough.
talk about Jews.
With a sickle in his hand, gonna cut off your ball.
Jesus. That got as dark as K-9 and Company. We better shut this down quick. This pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.